everyone to Simply Living Wellness, where you'll learn how to love yourself, heal yourself, and how to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. So today I'm thrilled to have my dear friend and teacher, Jean Slatter, back to our show. In our last episode with Jean, we talked about how to hire the heavens, i.e. angels, the angelic realm, to assist you in everyday life. What an incredible episode that was, and so practical. So if you didn't get a chance to watch that episode, please visit simplylivingwellness.com and search for Jean Slatter on the archives page, and you'll be sure to find it. So today, Jean's going to be talking to us about bringing your higher guidance into your life, and what are the rules of understanding those messages that we get from higher guidance. So hello, Jean, and welcome.
Hi, Donna. I'm so glad to be back with you.
Yay, very exciting. So let me just give a little bit of information about your background, Jean. Jean Slatter is the founder of the Creative Mystic Intuitive and the Higher Guidance Life Coach certification programs. I have been through both myself. Highly, highly recommend them. She is also an inspirational speaker and the author of the hugely successful book, Hiring the Heavens. Jean's programs and materials teach down-to-earth, easy techniques for receiving rock-solid intuition that can be trusted for the quickest, most accurate, and relevant insights concerning life's treasure hunt journey. Jean began her journey with over 20 years of experience as a natural health practitioner and a higher guidance life coach. She is a certified traditional naturopath, a Reiki master, and an active dowser since 1990. Jean's materials have been featured in noted publications such as First for Women magazine, Science of Mind, New Age Journal, and Conscious Living magazine. Jean was a featured presenter for the Conscious Media Network and Gaiam TV. So welcome, Jean. So good to have you here today.
Thank you, Donna. Let's get started.
Let's just hear a little bit from you about your background and how you got to create 2 certification programs.
Well, Donna, in my business as a traditional naturopath, when I first started out, I really wanted to stick with things that were very explainable, like herbs and nutrition. But it wasn't long before I realized I could not confine myself just to the physical level. There were emotional issues and belief systems that were holding physical conditions in place, and I certainly did not want to go there. That was not where my training was at all. I mean, I knew about nutrition, I knew about herbs and various, other modalities, physical modalities, but darn, now I got to talk about emotions and beliefs, and I really didn't want to go there. But as my business began to evolve, I found that I had a way of, and I just kind of fell into it, a way of connecting to someone's higher guidance. And the phrase higher guidance to me means their soul, their divine self, their guides, their angels, their God self, and anything that is beyond the intellect. I had a way of connecting with the truth of who they really were and receiving back messages about their life's journey. And something quite extraordinary happened when I would let go of any of my preconceived ideas about what was going on with a client that would come in with, let's say they had arthritis, heart disease, or a thyroid issue. When I would tune into their higher guidance and let their higher guidance tell me what was the cause of this, where did it originate, extraordinary things would come through. And gradually I understood that this is a big, huge gap in the life coaching world. So much so that eventually, many, many years later, I got the message from my own higher guidance that it was time to create a program that filled in that gap. You see, with traditional life coaching, it's you're pretty much taught a cookie cutter approach. You're taught, all right, let's sit down, Donna, and let's talk about your goals. and let's see, what are the steps that you need to take every day to reach those goals? And, it's great information, but what if what you've set out as your goals is not part of your life's path? What if your soul completely disagrees with it? What if you're really meant to be doing something else? Well, then what's going to end up happening is that no matter how effective you are at writing your goals and doing all the things that traditional life coaching would say, it's still going to bomb.
Yeah. So tell me real quick, where do those goals that we think we want that come from our mind, where are those originating then?
Well, a lot of it originates from our conditioning.
Okay.
And what we're taught we should want, and what we're taught life should look like. It's almost, not only is there a cookie cutter approach to life coaching, but there's also a cookie cutter picture of what the perfect life looks like, right? The perfect life is, you got the nice big house, the white picket fence, and you got the happy family, the kids, and you've got this great job, and, it's all this stuff. You got money in the bank for retirement. That's the perfect picture. But what I'm here to tell you is that the truth of who you are, your divine self, is so much more interesting than that, and would never confine itself to, that's all I want to know about life and that's all I came here to achieve. Quite to the contrary. When you incarnated, you had something very definite in mind you wanted to know the truth of, to experience. It's kind of like, maybe think of it this way, Donna. If life is like Disneyland, and every conceivable possible ride is available to you, some people will come here and say, what I want to do is I want to do the roller coaster. And the next group of people say, what I want to do is the Pirates of the Caribbean. And, there's all sorts of adventures that we want to take on for the purpose of experiencing it that have absolutely nothing to do with the white picket fence.
Yeah. And so here we are sitting down, writing our goals. We hire this life coach, a traditional life coach, to help us reach these goals. But if we're not meant to, in our soul's life path is not meant to go down that road, it's probably not going to work in the end anyway, is what I'm assuming, right?
That's exactly right. And it isn't like the words not meant to be. Maybe you could think of it that way, or you could simply say, you're just not interested. You try to convince yourself you're interested because, that's what society tells you should be interested in. Go to school, go to college, get the big degree so you can get the high paying job. But what if your soul is just not interested?
Okay, so what then is higher guidance life coaching? So we understand now what the traditional coaching is. How do you do it as a higher guidance life coach?
So that's the beauty of higher guidance. Higher guidance is that part of us that knows everything about us, knows every life we've ever incarnated into, knows our soul's path, and knows why we came here. Knows every experience we've ever had, the knowledge that we have gleaned from those experiences, and it knows what more we want to know. Here's the thing. If you can remember this phrase, because I just love it, who we really are curious creators. We are insatiably curious creators. And what are we creators of? We are creators of experience. Donna, it's the only thing that's real. It's the only thing that's real. I'll tell you a quick little story. One time I was doing a meditation where I was drawing up or attempting to draw up this green energy from the earth and bring down this violet energy from the heavens and have it commingle within my energy field and then burst out, infinitely. And this is a meditation I've done many times. And as I'm saying this, I bet you the listeners are saying, oh, yeah, I've done that meditation because it's a real common one. And it had always been really effective for me. But this one morning, I am trying my best to visualize and feel this green energy and violet energy, and I've got nothing. I'm just getting nothing. It is just like completely blank. and it isn't that I'm just getting a little bit. It's just obviously blank, nothing. So now I'm getting frustrated, and I'm trying again, to pull up this green energy and to feel it. And again, nothing, absolutely nothing. And I'm getting more and more frustrated. Why can't I do this meditation? And then I hear a little chuckle from my own higher guidance. And my higher guidance says, there's no such thing as light and color. And I said, excuse me? What are you talking about? And they said, well, there's really no such thing as energy. I said, oh, well, excuse me. Everything is energy. I'm doing, no, everything's energy. And they said, no, everything is an illusion, including light, color, and energy.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, Donna, I just was stopped in my tracks. I just I had to really think about that. And, we do talk about how in this physical dimension, everything is energy. But if you take a step beyond that to the spiritual level, energy, light, color doesn't exist. It's as if we are in a dream world. Think about it that way. When you have a dream at night, Donna, and it seems very, very real to you, and let's say you're at a restaurant, and at this restaurant, you're eating the best meal ever. Isn't just a thought and consciousness?
Yeah.
Isn't it, is it real? Was there actually the energy of that meal? Or was it just the experience of eating this incredible meal?
Yeah, really, it's the experience.
Yep, that is what guidance was trying to tell me. I asked, well, if there is no such thing as light, color, and energy, and everything is an illusion, is anything real? And they said, yes, one thing, experience. And when you think about it, it's true. When we pass from this life, what do we take with us? Do we take anything that is physical, including energy? No. The only thing that we take with us is our experience.
Wow. Very, very interesting and fascinating, which is why I took your programs. And so, Jean, you have the 2 programs, Creative, Mystic, Intuitive, and then you can go on for another 6 months to 6 months or 3 months?
Another 3 months. So that if you take both of them, it's a total of 6 months.
That's right. So the second part focuses on how to, first of all, the first part is to imagine, I'd like our listeners just imagine for a minute that you could discover through these tools that Jean teaches what your soul's life path is and what you came to this lifetime to experience and to create. That's why I took the program, originally. Now I have also been certified to do this kind of higher guidance life coaching and help other people discover their path. I can do it for myself, and I can do it as a practitioner and help others. I'm not doing that currently. I may one day, but just to be able to understand my own life path and my soul's journey, and what I came to here to experience was just, phenomenal. So tell us a little bit about your program, and, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about how we get these messages from our higher guidance and how do we convey them?
Right. I realized that I actually didn't answer a question that you had given me previously, and that is how does higher guidance life coaching differ? Because I had to explain this whole part about how experience is the only thing that's real. And the thing of it is that when we incarnate, before we do, we actually decide on what experiences that we want to have in order so that we can know the truth of that experience. So if you look up one of the definitions of experience, the definition is it's practical knowledge derived through direct participation. In other words, it means you lived it. So there's things, Donna, that you could read about. I know you have kids. So you probably read prior to giving birth to your children, you probably read about what that experience would be like. Mm-hmm. But boy, oh boy, there's just nothing like go through it, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's just like some things you can read about, but until you experience it for yourself, nothing you read that can be written can ever describe it. So our souls know that. Our souls say, I want to live it. I want to experience it. And that's how I'm going to know the truth of that experience for myself. So when I do higher guidance life coaching, what I'm doing is I'm not talking to my client and saying, okay, let's talk about your goals and trying to fit them into a cookie cutter approach to all people should want this. And therefore, let's work on that. Instead, what I do is get in touch with their higher guidance and let their higher guidance be the coach. And their higher guidance will say to my client, their higher guidance will say, okay, this is what's going on in your past. This is why you're experiencing this. And here's how to move more into it and get the most out of it. Or here's what you need to know to move out of it. You know, in any case, it's always about what is the next step their higher guidance says they should take. It's never about what I think. In fact, that's what and as you well know, because you took the course, that's the thing I say over and over to my graduates, that we're doing a higher guidance life coaching. They may have the best advice to give in the world and, you know, some of the best experience that they could pass on. And it's completely irrelevant. It absolutely means nothing. And I advise my graduates not to even say it because it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what the client's higher guidance has to say.
So that's interesting. So you're really not even the coach.
No,
yeah,
you're not.
The higher guidance is the coach. You're the facilitator. You're the connector. You're almost like a medium, I guess, where you're the
conveying.
one.
Yep, conveying the messages.
And so in your course, you teach us how to get those messages ourselves, and then how to do that for others as a coach as well.
And in addition to a number of various techniques and modalities that only when their higher guidance says, this is what I need you to do next, like we need to clear out a belief that you have, or we need to get clear about what you want, or we need to remove a resistance, or we need to do this or that. Then there are specific modalities that higher guidance will guide the practitioner, the higher guidance life coach, to perform for the client.
Wow. Talk about not having to be under pressure as a coach.
Right.
Guided through the whole session. And it's so much more valuable. That's the great thing about it, is that the clients get so much more value because they're being guided by their own higher guidance. They're making those goals based on what their soul wants them to do and what to experience.
Oh, and this gets very, very practical. It almost sounds when we're talking here that we're talking about this big overarching, this is my soul's plan, and, and getting tuned into that. But, it's down to the practical, everyday kind of stuff. And I remember one of my clients was a life coach herself. She was certified in 5 different life coaching courses and had written one herself and taught it. So this was a person that knew life coaching inside out. And she was dealing with an issue for years that she just could not resolve. And a friend of hers says, well, you got to go see Jean. And she says, well, she's a life coach. Why would I go see a life coach when I'm a life coach myself?
And I teach.
And the friend said, well, Jean's different. This is different. This is higher guidance life coaching. Well, it took a year before she finally called me. And when she did, in 1 hour, we resolved this issue that had been plaguing her for over 20 years. And it's not that the other things that she was doing weren't effective for other things. It's that for this particular issue, there was no way you can put this in some cookie cutter approach to life coaching. As I said, we are so much more complex and interesting than what could ever be written in any kind of course. Can you imagine the totality of who you are, Donna, to be placed in any kind of book?
Oh, no.
No. You and everyone is just so much more interesting than that. And the variables are incalculable. So that's the whole thing of Higher Guidance Life Coach, and why I tell my graduates, you can have the best advice in the world and it's not even relevant, because the truth of it is that when you come to a session, you have no clue, absolutely none, what is right for your client. Only part of them that knows what's right for them is their own higher guidance.
Wow. So we are almost out of time. So this life coach you were telling us about, she finally came to you and finished the story, and then unfortunately we're going to have to end.
What her issue was having to do with a business that she was trying to start and just had not been able, like it was like pulling teeth. Now, this is one of those examples. Write down your goals. Well, I want to create this business. And she was doing everything she was supposed to be doing for it, and yet it was not successful. It felt laborious, and she just was dragging her feet every step of the way. And this wasn't just for this website, but for other issues in her life that she just couldn't figure out. Why wasn't she on board with doing what she was, quote unquote, told she was supposed to be doing? When we got in touch with her higher guidance, her higher guidance made it very clear to her, and I'll make it quick. Her higher guidance made it clear to her that she had a hidden agenda, and the hidden agenda was to prove her mother wrong. With that kind of a hidden agenda, you really can't move forward at all. Once she was able to see that, she said, you know what? I don't want to be, now that I know that's what my hidden motivation is, I can drop that. And furthermore, now that I've dropped that, I don't even want to do this website business. And she figured out what she really wanted to do, and she is so much happier now.
Truly amazing. Truly amazing. And I know there's hundreds more stories that you could tell. I wish we had time to hear them. But tell us, Jean, so how can our listeners get more information about your certification programs, even if they're not wanting to be a life coach or a higher guidance life coach, and you just want to learn the tools for talking to their own higher guidance, for receiving those messages, for getting the direction, for understanding their life purpose and their soul's path? How can they learn more about your programs?
And I'm so glad that you phrased it in that way, because honestly, most of my students do it for themselves first. And secondly, for a career, if they decide to do a career, but it's primarily for themselves. And it is a life-changing, transformational certification program that'll just knock your socks off.
Oh, yes. I can attest to that.
They can go to jeanslatter.com, and that's spelled Jean, S as in Sam, Latter, or they can go to creativemystic.com. Either one gets you to the same place, and they will see a tab for the certification programs and to learn all about it.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Jean. I'm sorry to have to wrap up here, but we're out of time, and I look forward to getting you back on our show another day to talk more about your programs and actually maybe, giving some actual tools out to our listeners that they can take home and start practicing. But please go visit Jean's website. It is an amazing program. It is transformational for me and just fascinating to be able to really understand why we came here and what we came to experience and create. Just fascinating to be able to get that information. So thank you again, Jean, and have a wonderful day, everyone, and we will catch you on next week's episode.